just an absolute snow globe for this game. I don't think the Bills were at all affected. The Niners, that was a different. This is all happening in the last 24 hours. End of the first quarter, Bills first and goal. They're down 3-0. The handoff, Ray Davis. And at this moment, I sort of felt like, okay, this is how it's going to go. That was 7-3. Second quarter, Christian McCaffrey.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
They labeled this at the time as a right knee injury. He did go into the tent and then he left the game, did not return. You know who did not have an issue with the snow? That man. James Cook, 107 yards and that touchdown, Coach.
It looks like he has track shoes on and everybody else has snow shoes.
Fine, exactly. Like what's your problem? Yeah. Josh Allen to Mac Hollins, who, by the way, is now wearing shoes. Oh. That's a touchdown. And the Bills led 21-3. The number of issues in this game for the Niners. Kyle Juszczyk fumbles it, recovered by Christian Benford, who then returns it 43 yards. Taylor Rapp is the one who punched the ball out from Juszczyk. Niners missed the great opportunity to score there, so they're still down 21-3. This next portion of the program may be the most unique thing we've seen all year. Amari Cooper tosses it back to Josh Allen, who then dives in for the score. Bills with that commanding lead. It is now 28-3. The awareness by Cooper, the follow-through by Josh Allen. Boy, he's having himself a week. And then in the fourth quarter,
he gets 2 touchdowns.
I know. Leading 28-10, or the Bills add to it. Allen back to throw. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to run it in again. 8 yards out. Passing, rushing, and receiving touchdown in this game. He did not play all of it. Bills did need him to. 35-10. So this stat line, I mean, come on. Touchdown on the ground, 2 through the air, including that receiving touchdown from that Amari Cooper lateral. So Josh Allen is now the 5th player since the 1970 merger and the first quarterback in NFL history with a pass rush and receiving touchdown in the same game. So let's just start there. Josh Allen, what do you say?
He is an MVP candidate. There's no doubt about that. They've won the division.
Yep.
But there's bigger fish to fry for them. But I felt going into this game that the Buffalo Bills had a big advantage. The 49ers were wounded. They had gotten Christian McCaffrey back. He gets hurt. After a while, it became not a fair fight. The 49ers turned the ball over 3 times. They were 1 for 3 in the red zone. The Buffalo Bills were 4 for 4. So just do the math. Eventually, this thing gets away from you, and they were in a position where all of a sudden they couldn't run the ball anymore. They had to throw in these conditions. Josh Allen threw in these conditions like it wasn't snowing outside.
I mean, nothing for him, right?
No. Right. Why is that? Why is it that you can have one team that seems so drastically affected by the weather conditions and the other team, I know that they live there, they play there more often, but they seemed like it was just any other Sunday? Because
they take great pride in these are the conditions we can play in, and it's an advantage. It's like if you're a team down south, the Miami Dolphins, when they were rolling back in the day, they felt in November and December, teams that came from the north had to go to the south. They had an advantage because of the heat. Josh Allen has an advantage this way. You saw it when he ran in the end zone, carrying that ball with one hand. He has big hands, really big hands. And what you do when you draft quarterbacks like this one right here, in conditions that it snows a lot, you want a quarterback with big hands. Why? He can throw the football. Ball never slips in his hand. We saw today. Purdy, ball slipped out of his hand a couple times. Josh Allen's doing this, and the ball's not going anywhere in the snow.
Yeah.
You talked about Josh Allen being the MVP candidate. Right now, he's the odds-on favorite to win it, -225 according to ESPN Bet. So I want to go small picture, big picture with Josh Allen. First, I want to go small picture.
Yes.
The play that we saw where he threw it.
The Amari Cooper lateral.
Yeah, but still had the presence of mind to put himself in a position to potentially make a play that we rarely see. And then he has the ability, athletically, Herm, to get to the pylon.
But see, and this is where I say, look, now watch this when he dives out. With one hand. He doesn't even worry about fumbling this ball.
Yeah.
He's got it this way.
No glove.
Big hands. It's unbelievable. It's just that's what you do when you're a team that plays in these kind of conditions.
But you also wonder how many other quarterbacks in the NFL would have done the exact same thing in that situation.
Maybe Lamar, not presence of mind to even put themselves out there like that.
Sometimes we look at Josh Allen as a quarterback. I look at him as a great athlete. He's big. He's fast for his size. He does a lot of things. I mean, he's just an unusual athlete, but he plays quarterback.
It seems as though this team has not just rallied behind their quarterback. Every team should do that. But they've taken on the identity of their quarterback. He's a no-nonsense guy so far. He's like, yeah, we won the division. We have bigger fish to fry, as you said. Yeah, we beat the Chiefs, but we're trying to get to 10, 11 wins, da-da-da. It seemed like the entire team is falling in behind that attitude.
It's a different team now, right? You add
We've
and
seen
subtract.
that coming.
You add and subtract. Stephon Diggs was a big-time receiver.
Addition by subtraction is what you're saying.
And what has happened now, they're more of a running team. That's the Buffalo Bills, by the way. This is why you play in this weather. You got to be able to run the ball.
107 yards out of Cook today.
Yes, and Josh Allen can run. And there lies the problem. That sets up what? The play-action pass for Josh Allen. You think about his receivers. They're good, but nothing special. But, I mean, they're all special because they play in the NFL. But it's not like I got a number one receiver. He's got some good receivers. We got a good tight end, and they run the football.
So, I mean, we were sitting here 2 nights ago having a conversation after the Chiefs won again, jokingly referring to them as the worst 11-1 team in the history of the NFL. And because of their record, they are the best team in football. They are the best team in the AFC. When you compare the two, when you compare the Chiefs and you compare the Bills, which have obviously already beaten the Chiefs, like how much of an advantage do you give to one team or the other?
We give the Chiefs an edge over all these guys because they know how to win.
Until they're beaten.
Until somebody beats them in the playoffs.
Okay.
You got to beat them in the playoffs. I mean, it's going to wind up to that. It's going to, and Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, they hear it. The Ravens hear it. Lamar Jackson hear it. They all hear it. Pittsburgh Steelers are hearing it. Can anybody beat the Chiefs?
Okay, but fine.
In the
I want to know
playoffs?
on paper. I understand, like in heads, we have to have a different conversation.
Yes.
But on paper, with what we see today and the pros and the cons with both of these teams, like the Chiefs cannot close out a game and blow a team out. And look at what these guys did tonight in the snow. So give it to me on paper. How much
on paper?
How much of an edge are you giving the Bills in their current form with what they're able to do?
I give them the edge for me right now goes with the quarterback because of the way Josh Allen is playing.
He's playing better this year than Patrick Mahomes.
Is anybody talking about Patrick Mahomes being MVP?
No.
No. Josh Allen is playing at that level right now. But can he do it in the playoffs? And
That's what really matters.
Josh Allen understands that.
Yes.
Lamar Jackson understands that. Russell Wilson, they get in the playoffs. They understand that. They're going to face Patrick Mahomes. Can we beat him? Can we beat the Chiefs in playoff competition?
And can they beat him in Kansas City? It's not in Buffalo. If the records play out, that championship game would be in Kansas City.
Arrowhead, that's right.
Not Buffalo. All right, let's turn the page real quickly to the 49ers. And I felt like this game was pretty much a microcosm of their entire season. It's been plagued by injuries and turnovers and inopportune plays. But more importantly, to Christian McCaffrey. He started the season injured. He hasn't been healthy. Obviously, he's played a couple games. Then he goes down in this one again, and we hope it's not more severe than it may have looked. But nonetheless, the Niners can't win for losing, and it's all because of the injuries to their very best players, including Brock Purdy at one point.
You know, one of their receivers, Brandon Ayuk, out.
Yeah.
Right? Left tackle didn't play. Bosa didn't play. We can go down the line and say, well, how can these guys get it done? They were competitive early in this game, but then it got away from them. When the score got away from them, they couldn't run the ball any longer. They did a good job in the beginning of this game running the ball with McCaffrey and, and crew. They ran the ball at them, and they were in the football game. But then all of a sudden, as the score got away from them, you can't score enough points running.
Obviously, we don't know the exact injury to McCaffrey at this point. He went into the blue tent. He was immediately ruled out of the game. So let's just live in a world for a second where this is a serious enough injury where he is out for, just call it a handful of games.
Handful of season almost over. They got 5 games left.
That's a wrap.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is, like, can the 49ers live in a world where McCaffrey isn't who they live and die by?
It's very difficult because he is kind of the guy, he's the engine of this offense. Everything stems off the running game and their ability to run and play action pass. He's a great pass catcher out of the backfield. He gives you that option. The 49ers are wounded in a lot of different ways, but here's the funny part. They have 5 wins and 7 losses. The leader of the pack is 7-5.
They're not out of it by numbers.
That's
only
the
2
question.
games back.
They're not out of it. Can they win? Now, all of a sudden, they've lost, 3 in a row? Well, you're headed in the wrong direction. You got to win a football game. You have to win one. If they can win one.
You should also win one in your division.
They're 1-3 in the division.
Right.
They probably need to run the table.
They got to win because they're running out of time, and they know that.
So if you're Kyle Shanahan, what is your message after this game in which you were completely blown out and you probably lost your MVP?
We got a chance. We still got a chance.
Am I buying that?
Yeah, players are buying it because they're looking at it. They're going, hey, we're 2 games behind Seattle. And they're you know what they're asking
Not for
themselves?
nothing, Seattle was wild today.
But I'm saying, the players are looking at it and they're going, and the 49ers are going, we're in this division. We can beat any of these teams.
Chest never returned. Christian McCaffrey, knee, didn't return. Fred had cramps, he did return. Go ahead.
Any indication of the nature of the knee injury?
Yeah, they're saying they think it's PCL.
PCL?
Yep. I think potentially. I'm not exactly sure yet. You know, I think PCL is usually a couple weeks, but I'm not exactly sure yet.
Did he get hurt on the 18-yard run before that? Is that the indication?
I believe so. That's when he came out. So then he went back in for one play and couldn't go.
Lack of physicality. You see anything from the Buffalo defense at all that surprised you at all? What has been the factor?
Are you saying lack of physicality from our offense? I mean, I thought we ran the ball real well. You know, I think we had 120 yards at halftime. You know, it's our passing game didn't do well, so I didn't sense a lack of physicality on our offense.
How would you describe the conditions, what that was like for play?
I mean, the tracking is what I think got a lot of guys for both sides. You know, as far as the turnovers, I think it got Brock on that one pass, obviously, that third down that slipped out of his hands. It makes it tough, but tough for both teams.
Did Brock have to have an injection in his shoulder before the game?
No, Brock's shoulder was totally fine.
Fred, when I know you talk about the cramps,
What's that?
he be able to continue.
Yeah, he came back the next series.
What was it, Coach? Seemed like you moved the ball well, running the ball, but then it seemed like this errors kind of caused you to turn up the fumbles and just.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was excited with how we ran the ball in the first half. You know, I think our 5 possessions, I think we got in their territory on all 5. Ended up getting that sack, which was disappointing, having to punt on that one. 2 missed field goals. Only coming up with 3 points was tough, especially when they, you know, I think we got them 3 and out on the first drive, but I think they scored 3 straight touchdowns after that. I thought it should have been closer than 21-3 at halftime. Thought we had a chance, like last week, opening up with a big kickoff. This one didn't have a penalty, and then fumbling on the one was tough. Fumbling on the one, then they led it to points, made it, I believe they did. They made it 28-3 fast, and you know, we got back in it with 28-10, but then we had 2 more turnovers after that, and got none. So playing in those conditions, us having 3, them having 0, the way they ran the ball, made it real tough.
Kyle Shanahan there in Buffalo, and the news we heard early on was that they believe it's a PCL injury with Christian McCaffrey in that right knee. He's already had some knee issues, obviously, this season, and from a couple people who've had some PCL injuries. That's not good.
No natural ACLs.
That's not good, and what's basically going to happen when he gets back to the Bay Area, going to have an MRI to see the extent of that injury. But based on how little he's played this season, he's been injury-plagued while he was – you would find it hard to believe if there's any injury whatsoever to the PCL that he would play the rest of the season.
This organization, and I know folks in this organization, they are very aware of that. They're going to protect their players, especially this young man.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if he makes it back this year. Now, if they make a run or something, maybe he comes back. But there's going to be no rush getting back.
As an organization, Herm, consider how much you have invested in this young man.
Yes.
Even if you could make the playoffs this year, you know you're not going to the Super Bowl. If you're being realistic, you know you're not going to the Super Bowl. So why even risk it?
Well, yeah, but
Tell me the truth. I want to know what the players and the coaches would say.
This is what you feel. This is what you really feel like.
Yeah.
If you get in the playoffs,
You can do anything.
we got a shot.
Okay.
You never think, if I'm in the playoffs, well, we ain't going to go. Well, the whole.
You ain't never been in a playoff game thinking we had no chance to beat the team you playing?
Well,
Stranger
you know
things
what?
have happened.
When you get in the playoffs, you feel like, you know what? This is a new game now. We're in the playoffs. It's single elimination.
Right.
And we've seen it.